Courage is the cure. Welcome to episode, where are we? 49 of Rise. Today we're going to be talking about the media and police. Are they sabotaging the March for Australia? That's about to roll on the weekend. See you in a jiffy.
Strength of a woman world on her shoulders. Fight through the noise when the world gets colder. 832, got the grit, got the fire. Watch her rise, watch her come higher.
All right, everybody. Like I said, welcome to episode 49 of Rise. It is the 29th of August, 2025. This morning, we're going to be talking about the media and police in regards to the up and coming March for Australia on Sunday. Are they, in fact, sabotaging the rally? Are they putting peaceful attendees' safety at risk? Are we seeing misinformation and sensationalised reporting? Excuse me. So that's what we're going to be talking about this morning. Hello, Gaza there on Rumble. I have a feeling that Fascist Book will be censoring me this morning, so please make sure you share the show. Hello to everyone on Rumble. Hello on YouTube. We're streaming to YouTube today and on X as well. I was going to put a banner up, but I've not had the time. My apologies for my absence this week. It has been a very stressful week for me, and I haven't been able to do my shows. Excuse me. I'm just creating a very short banner quickly. That's huge. Look at that one. I'll fix it up in a little bit. So you must excuse my absence. Terribly sorry about that. But anyway, funny thing, you know how last week and the week before I was talking about having sound effects, especially when we've got ear bleeding, knicker twisting, eye twitching episodes. Well, lo and behold, the streaming software that I use now have a new function. And what is it? Sound effects. So I've just downloaded two quickly. We've got this one. It's a screaming man. And then we've got this one. Booing. So there's a whole host of sound effects. I'm going to have a play around with that when I've got some time. I just saw it this morning. How exciting. Very exciting, hey? Hello, Christine, and Eve, and Belinda. Belinda's on Facebook. Make sure you share the show. We are being censored. I am absolutely positive. I can see right now on the screen that we are absolutely being censored. Just quickly, I do have the bespoke badges in that I've created for. Is it going to show it? Is it? No. Camera's not doing it. For Be Free. Anyway, you can go along to my Facebook page and find the link for those. I have designed them for men and women, and they're lovely pieces there. Alrighty, everybody, and thank you to everyone on Buy Me a Coffee, 100% crowdfunded, so I stay independent. Very important for me. Hi, Leander, how you going? Right, let's get on with it. Is this going to be one of those ear bleeding shows? Perhaps. Perhaps it might just be that. Hi, Chichi. Let's get on with it. So, hello, YouTube. How you going? A number of things that we're going to cover this morning. We're going to be looking at locations as far as the March for Australia rally that's going to be on the 31st of August, this Sunday. So we're going to be looking at locations. We're going to be talking about the reporting of locations. and also the permissions of locations. We're also going to be looking at articles from the ABC in regards to locations, and we're also going to be listening to Ben Fordham, who this morning spoke to the Police Commissioner from New South Wales about locations. So there's a running theme this morning about locations, and we're going to be examining those things. As I mentioned before, is it misinformation, disinformation, on purpose, sensationalised reporting from the ABC and a few other places, poor police reporting, perhaps? Let's examine that, because I seem to see some media bias and really having a potential effect on public safety. So a couple of days ago, I did a short video because I was examining the locations of the counter protests around Australia. So let's remember and just fill in the audience members for overseas. This March for Australia is in every capital city around Australia on Sunday, the 31st of August. And there are counter protests. And so I was examining the locations of the counter protests, and of course I'm from Perth in Western Australia. I was particularly interested in where the counter protest is going to be held in Perth, and lo and behold, it's at Stirling Park. And Stirling Park is actually the same location as the March for Australia. So I did a short video expressing my disbelief and disgust and lack of care for public safety, because yes, Stirling Park might be kind of around the corner, but it's the same location. A lot of people are going to be congregating in exactly the same area, and in my humble opinion, hello Mr. Ree, I don't understand how this has been allowed to happen, because it places people in places directly next to each other, which potentially could have a very negative outcome. So I did that video a few days ago. Anne's got a very good question. Do you think they might be hoping for some trouble, asking for a friend? I don't know. I think, we're here to examine that today. Are they informing the public, or endangering the public? Let's see, shall we? And so let's move on to the first part of the show, and that is, excuse me, a video about locations. So Channel 9, and I have to thank one of my wonderful viewers. We're already 8 minutes in and we're just getting to the first video. I'm so sorry for the very long intro, but that's what the show's going to be like, obviously. I have to thank one of my audience members that brought this video to my attention. I had not seen this, and this is from Channel 9 News Perth. Yesterday, the 28th of August 2025, WA Police issue warning ahead of weekend protests. Shall we watch this together, everybody?
Out in force ahead of an anti-immigration rally planned this weekend. Organisers insist the March for Australia will be peaceful, claiming thousands of protesters will rally here and around the country.
A planned protest across the nation.
All Australian people must come first.
March for Australia, rallying against mass migration and international flags.
No other flag except for the Australian flag.
Their message, to stand for the people, culture and nation that built Australia.
It's like a national immune response to foreign bodies. Just imagine your own body's immune system. When too many foreign bodies come in, the immune system activates to protect itself.
Anyone that seeks to demonise migration to Australia, to Western Australia, are really just driving an agenda of hate and division.
Stirling Gardens in the city, one of many demonstrations planned across the country.
Right, I'm just going to stop it there. So they've said Stirling Street Gardens is one of many places set for the demonstrations. Right? That's what they said. I'll just wind us back a bit. Pay attention.
And division.
Stirling Gardens in the city, one of many demonstrations planned across the country. WA Police on alert.
We're in contact with the organisers. They have been granted a permit with very strict conditions.
Now, what organisers? Is he talking about the March for Australia organisers in Perth, or is he talking about the counter protest organisers? Because the counter protest in Perth, Police Commissioner Cole Blanche, is where? At Stirling Gardens, and that is the place that corporate media, Channel 9 News Perth, has referenced once so far in this video. And they've been weaselly by saying it's one of many places, right? So, Mr. Cole Blanche, Commissioner of Police in Western Australia, which rally organisers, to be clear, have you been talking to? The March for Australia or the counter protest? Because you're not being specific. And this is very dangerous territory. Very dangerous territory in regards to public safety. I'll wind us back again.
Granted a permit with very strict conditions. They are working closely with us.
Confident officers are prepared for anything, including extremist groups and counter-protests.
We plan for everything.
So, including counter-protest. They're planning for everything, including counter-protest. No, the place that you mentioned, Channel 9 News, is the location of the counter-protest. So, people would infer from what Cole Blanche has just said and the poster that they just popped up on the screen that Stirling Gardens is where the March for Australia is. No, it's not. No, it is not.
And then we de-escalate if necessary. If there is a counter-march or there is conflict, they are also subject to the conditions.
If there is a counter-march, you just had Channel 9 telling everyone where the counter-march is, but they didn't say that, did they? They said it in the context of talking about the March for Australia. Hey? You see how corporate media work?
The organiser behind the Stirling Gardens rally didn't want to speak on camera.
So here, the organiser behind the Stirling Gardens rally didn't want to speak to Channel 9. So the audience is going to be thinking, the organiser for the March of Australia doesn't want to speak to Channel 9. No, the counter-protest, Channel 9, is at Stirling Gardens. Absolutely lazy, sloppy reporting. Framing this march in a particular way through a lack of detail. The corporate media and our politicians and our police have a nasty habit of not including very important details for public information. Now, is this misinformation from corporate media? Lying by omission? You be the judge.
Instead, telling 9 News the group is doing everything possible to ensure Sunday's event is peaceful, respectful and enjoyable.
If they want to show any sort of disorder, commit any crime, WA Police will be there in numbers to shut that down immediately.
Holly Edwards-Smith, 9 News.
Absolute disgraceful reporting from Channel 9. They mention the location of the counter-protest twice. Not once do they mention the location of the March for Australia in Perth, which is the same park just around the corner with a different name. Imply that the organiser doesn't want to speak to them. Don't clarify exactly who that is, which organiser of which march or protest that is. So again, in my humble opinion, this puts the general public in danger. Not only have the police allowed the counter-protest in Perth and the March for Australia to be in the same location where a great number of people with differing opinions are going to congregate, not only have they allowed that, they've allowed corporate media has failed to do their job properly and report facts. And they've sent mixed messaging to the public about locations, the actual march itself, the counter protests, the organisers, who they approach, don't know who they are, don't specify. So what do we end up with? A report that's framed in a particular way to say that the March for Australia could potentially be dangerous and the police are going to be there to protect everybody, and that the March for Australia is at Stirling Gardens. So what's going to happen? Anybody that is a freedom fighter or loves Australia and has been paying attention on social media will know the location of the March for Australia in Perth, which is Supreme Court Gardens. It's the people that watch corporate media that are wondering, should we go along to that? You know, they talk to their hubby or their friend or their boyfriend or girlfriend. Should we go along to that? And they're watching the news report, and what do they hear? They keep hearing the location of the what? Counter protest. So what's going to happen? All of the freedom fighters, the liberty-loving, well-seasoned protesters are going to end up where they should be, the location of the March for Australia. And then you're going to get the people who have probably decided at the last minute, because they were unsure if they were going to attend, they're going to end up at the location of the counter protest. Now, I am a well-seasoned rally goer, protester, activist. Two things. I know how to conduct myself after all of that experience, especially when you've got people that are trying to interfere. There are many tactics you can use to not engage with those people. Sorry, my rooster's making a nuisance. Unfortunately, these people who are watching corporate media who decide to go at the last minute, they're not seasoned protesters by and large. And what's going to happen when they rock up with a load of people that have differing views from them? Because in my experience, the left are quite aggressive in most cases. What's going to happen? These poor people who make a decision at the last minute to go along to the March for Australia are going to end up in the same place with these agitators, these people on the left who are there to agitate and counter-protest. Yes, it's your right to be there. Everyone has an opinion, but by and large, more often than not, their behaviour is revolting. These people who go along at the last minute, they're not going to know how to deal with these people because they're not seasoned protesters. They don't understand the different strategies that seasoned protesters have when we're faced with that kind of aggravation, like walking away, like sitting down, like singing a song to get the police's attention to come over so they can see who the agitators are. You know, all of these types of strategies that we can use to de-escalate a situation when we're faced with the aggravated left. People who are not seasoned protesters don't know these things. So this absolute revolting reporting by Channel 9 News Perth yesterday is a disgrace. And I would suggest putting the safety of the public at risk with their complete lack of detail and perhaps on purpose only mentioning the location of the counter protest and failing to tell the viewers that that's where the counter protest is, not the actual March for Australia. What an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Hello, Gary. Oh, I'm glad you got your media is the virus cap. You can see that just behind me there. It's Courage is the Cure, media is the virus cap. I'm glad it got to you. Boy, that was quick, tell you. Usually Australia Post is having a coffee 6 weeks before anything like that pops up. Brilliant. So I have to say that is absolutely atrocious reporting from Channel 9 News, and I think it's selective reporting, which is distorting public perception for one, and that lack of detail and only mentioning the place of the counter protest and not stating that that's the location of the counter protest actually can potentially escalate tensions on the day, I would suggest. So very, very lazy, sloppy reporting from Channel 9 News. But I'm not surprised, absolutely not surprised. And prior to my short video I did about the locations in Perth of it being unacceptable in Perth, I did make a video saying that I will be going to the protest to what? Follow corporate media. I will be there to report on corporate media because if anything is going to escalate, if anything is perhaps maybe accidentally pre-planned to happen in front of corporate media cameras, you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to be there to film what happens because sound bites, advantageous narrative spinning short pieces of vision that corporate media will potentially put up after the rally will all be used to continue this narrative that sovereign citizens are the same as freedom fighters and we're all a bunch of domestic terrorists. So I will be there on the weekend to follow corporate media. Another video for you guys to let you know that you are all on notice. We're sick and tired of corporate media, along with our politicians, telling everybody that we're a bunch of what? Jackie Lambie? A bunch of nut jobs. Hey? How do we like that, everybody? Nut jobs. Alrighty, so, shame on you, Channel 9. What an absolute disgrace. Should we get a boo? A boo for Channel 9? There we go, everybody. That was fun. That was fun. Yes, Anne. Absolutely. Yes, irresponsible reporting. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But what do we expect from corporate media? And you know what's really disappointing is that these people who decide at the last minute, yeah, let's go along to the March for Australia. We've been told for the past 3 years that, waving the Australian flag is, far right, it's too nationalistic, let's go along and wave the Australian flag. These poor people are going to be faced with the aggressive nature of the left. And they're being used by the police to not only possibly escalate tensions because they won't know how to handle these people, how to de-escalate the situation. They're being used as a kind of second, third, fourth, fifth arm of the police to enrage a situation. And these people that are going along just because they want to wave an Australian flag and they're not seasoned protesters are being used like pawns. That's how I see it. Absolutely disgraceful. Yes, Anne, press choose. I'm going to make a sound button. Alrighty, if you've got any ideas for sound buttons, you can send me an email. Okay, and people will know my email. We'll get around to it anyway. What a disgrace. They're being used as pawns. They're being used as pawns. This irresponsible reporting, sensationalised headlines. People are being used as pawns. Right, let's get on to the next one. So this one, and it only Channel 9 mentioning the location of the counter protests. It's also, not positive. What is it? It opens a window. Let's put it that way. It opens a window for the counter protesters. The left. It opens a window for them to conduct themselves as they normally do in ways which freedom fighters, by and large, find dangerous, abhorrent, the very things that they say they're against, fascist, bigoted, narrow-minded. It opens the window for those people to do those things. Alrighty, so let's move on to the next one. Like I said, I was also made aware this morning that I will move on to that one. Well, it was also this morning. Also made aware this morning that the ABC had retracted information about what? The locations. This is the running theme about locations. So in Perth, they're trying to confuse people about the locations. Where's the counter protest? Where's the March for Australia location? So they're confusing the locations. Well, here we have an article from the ABC. We're going to screen the share this morning to the ABC Kitty Litter news outlet. And I'll just take down the comments for this part of the show. So this was also from yesterday. ABC investigation finds links between white nationalist views and March for Australia organiser. So if that's not sensationalism, as far as headlines are concerned, I don't know what is. Now, I'll just read the in short and then show you an image. So the website for March for Australia, an upcoming anti-immigration rally, previously contained a reference to the white nationalist concept of remigration as a reason for marching. Is that a nationalist concept? Is it? Are we being educated at the moment about what nationalist concepts are? Remigration is a nationalist concept. Okay. Some organisers of rallies around the country have posted white nationalist ideas and, in one case, pro-Nazi and pro-Hitler memes. I mean, this is just the ABC all over. It's just ridiculous. So the important thing that I want to show you here is this image that they've put up. So you would have seen the flyers of the locations being announced. And what has the ABC done? They've redacted the locations. They've redacted the locations of the rallies around the various capital cities of Australia. So again, this must be a tactic of theirs that they've come up with to confuse people, to not tell people, and we'll see in the third part of the show, to inform people. So this one is to control the information. You aren't allowed to know. We're not going to put the flyers up there in their entirety because we don't think you need to know where the rallies are. Why? Because you shouldn't be going there. That was like during the campaign with Donald Trump. Whenever he was speaking, these kitty litter outlets in the US, if it was a live cross, they'd cross for 2 seconds and then stop because they didn't want people hearing what Donald Trump had to say. I mean, this is the same thing. This is a complete control of information. Because they don't want people to go. So again, this is a tactic about locations. The first one, confuse people. The second one, which we see here, control of information. Don't tell anyone the locations. We don't want anybody to go. Astounding, isn't it? And I often wonder what these people's job title might be that sit around and say, right, we've got the politicians, we've got the media, we've got the police, we've got to get them saying the same script, right? Or doing whatever they're doing in coordination with each other. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Blah, 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 blah. They figure all these things out in these behind closed doors. Who are these people that do this? These coordinated campaigns to disseminate mis and disinformation, lies and bullshit to the public. Who are they? Who are these people? What are their job descriptions? What are their job titles? How much are they being paid to do this? These people couldn't even lay straight in their bed when they go to sleep of a night time. I wonder what they tell their children when they go home at night. Oh, hi, Mummy, hi, Daddy, what did you do today? I sat around in a room talking about how we can use the parliamentarians, bureaucrats, corporate media, and the police to manipulate the public. Do you tell your children that? Do you tell them that's what you do? Do you tell them that you actively do that as a job? Disgraceful. So, first one, as I said, let's confuse people about the location. Second one, let's control the information about the locations. Let's redact the very locations from the flyers when we put out a sensationalised headline article online for people to read about. Hello, Three Steves Phelps. How are you? Bloody legend. Yeah, I know. Don't be a sovereign citizen, hun. Get you nowhere these days. Even being a freedom fighter gets you called a nut job by parliamentarians like Jackie Lambie. She's amazing, isn't she? Oh, I do love Jackie. Jackie. Please go along to Three Steve's Films, everybody, on YouTube and follow Steve there. Steve is amazing, an amazing human being. Right, let's move on to the third one, everyone. And this is revealing information. That what? Possibly puts the public in harm's way. I would suggest my conspiracy, allegedly. So we are going to screen the share one more time this morning. And hello, how are you over there? We're going to screen the share again this morning, and we're going to listen to Ben Fordham and the New South Wales Police Commissioner. See, they've got another police commissioner, everybody. Imagine that. Imagine that. And this episode from Ben Fordham, I think it was this morning. Yes, it's this morning. Game plan. Game plan. Hey? Police reveal how they'll handle August 31st rallies. Astounding. Absolutely astounding. Right, everybody. Let's have you got your cup of coffee? Have you got your cup of tea? Let's listen to this, shall we? Here we go.
Master your trading landscape and trade with CMC Markets, an award-winning
Okay.
provider backed by over 35
great.
years' experience. Join more than 1 million traders and realize your potential. Learn more at cmcmarkets.com. All trading involves risks.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, New South Wales Police are in for a busy weekend. A number of major events are taking place this Sunday. People will gather from 12 p.m. at Belmore Park in Haymarket for the March for Australia rally. And police are trying to work out how many people are going to be turning up. You never really know with these things. And there are fears that things could become heated because the Palestine Action Group is going to be out for its weekly demonstration. They'll be gathering at Hyde Park North at 1 p.m.
It's weekly demonstration. Hey, mate, there's still people that go to government houses all around Australia and have been for the past 3 years. Oh, he's probably saying that so people think, oh, they do it every week. You know, how rude of these Australians marching for Australia when these Palestinian protesters do it every week. That's why they say things like this. Ben, you like the rest of them. Come on, give us a break.
And they're calling for their supporters to come out in big numbers. On their flyer, they say, stand up to racism and fascism, defend First Nations and immigrants, oppose the march for Australian Nazis. And then you've got the Sydney Marathon taking place. 35,000 runners will make their way across the city from North Sydney all the way to the Opera House. And police are going to have extra officers on deck throughout the city. And there's going to be a lot to stay across. Peter McKenna is the Acting Deputy Commissioner of New South Wales Police, and he's with us live in the studio. Peter, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ben. Thanks for having me.
I'm guessing it's all hands on deck on Sunday?
Absolutely. The marathon itself is a police operation we've had running for 12 months now, so that is fully planned and catered for. We've also got these 3 other public assemblies that we will be policing this Sunday.
All right, let's try and do it chronologically because the marathon will be happening in the morning. So what time will that all wrap up? What time do you think your officers will be cleared of those responsibilities?
So the marathon kicks off at 6:30. Our officers will be on deck well before that. And I think the last runners have a cut-off time of about 3:30. So it's an all-day event.
Just for people of Perth as well, there is the city to surf, so just make plans for your parking and all those things, blahby blahby.
But it is in the northern part of the city, thankfully. It won't cross over the areas where these other public assemblies are taking place.
Okay, my brother's running in the marathon, so they might be required beyond 3:30. He'll finish up at about 6:30 p.m, I reckon. So, okay, so we get the marathon out of the way, and congratulations to everyone who's taking part in the marathon on Sunday. It's going to be a big one. Then the protest starts. So why don't we kick off with the one that's been planned for some time, the March for Australia rally. We spoke to one of the Sydney organisers, a lady called Beck Freedom, who said she was the Sydney organiser. Is that the person you guys have been talking to or someone else in organising the Australia First rally?
No, there's the same lady we've been speaking to.
And Ben, when you spoke to Beck, your behaviour was absolutely disgraceful and another example of you holding on to one talking point to try to portray somebody in a particular light. Disgraceful.
I've been very cooperative with us. I must.
Oh, sorry, what? Beck has been cooperative? Good. Finally, someone is saying something rational.
Say, to her credit, we've asked to move routes, change locations early on because we were worried about the clash with the marathon. So that's all been adhered to. So far.
Worried about a clash with the marathon. All right. Are we worried about the clash with the weekly Palestinian rally that Ben opened the show up with? I wonder.
We're expecting 5, maybe 10,000, she tells us. We'll have a significant policing response there to make sure that everyone gets through that march safely.
How do you guys estimate how many people are going to turn up? I understand sometimes you actually have a look online. You do a little bit of a look through, Facebook and...
They don't look online, do they, everybody? Do the police look online to see what we're up to? Hey? No, they don't do things like that. Surely not.
Twitter and Snapchat and everything else to work out how many people are talking about it and committing to going?
That's exactly right. So we do all of that scouring over the internet as well as speaking to as many people as we can and the organisers. Sometimes, Ben, it's about hoping for the best and planning for the worst.
Okay, so these people are allowed to demonstrate the Australia First rallies. So 12 p.m. it starts in Belmore Park in Haymarket. And I think you were mentioning about roads and some changes. So is this a protest that's going to be moving or stationary?
So if you have seen any of Beck Freedom's videos on various social media platforms, you would have heard her say multiple times that they're not, or she's not going to talk about, and the organisers of the other states are not going to talk about the routes of the marches. Why? Because they don't want counter-protesters lining the streets or ending up in the final locations of the march to agitate and cause problems. So that information wasn't being talked about. And the Commissioner knew that. The Commissioner knew that. Let's continue.
It's a public assemblies. It will be mobile. It'll kick off at Eddie Avenue along Pitt Street, George Street, Broadway, finishing at Victoria Park.
Okay, so how close will they get to the Palestine Action?
So he just revealed where the march is going and where it's going to end up. Let's get on to the Palestinian part.
Group in Hyde Park North at 1 p.m.
Nowhere near it. They're in opposite directions. The Palestine Action.
Nowhere near it. They're in opposite directions. Ben just mentioned a time, 1 p.m. Hey? But the police commissioner has said, no, they're nowhere near each other. Don't worry about it. But they've just given the routes, the times, the final destination. Okay, police commissioner, smart man.
Group march will come out of Hyde Park, Market Street, York Street, Park Street back to Hyde Park. There is another public assembly, Ben, that is the Refugee Action Coalition. They're starting at Prince Alfred Park, again about 12 o'clock. They'll move along Elizabeth Street, end up in Hyde Park, and probably jump on the back of the Palestine Action Group, I would imagine.
Okay, boy, so there's a third one as well, the Refugee Action Group. I'm guessing your main aim is to keep everyone apart.
That's definitely part of the planning. We say...
Hey, I've got a good idea for you. You know how you keep everyone apart? You know how you keep everyone apart? That's reporting on the correct locations for the correct protests in the beginning, unlike they've done in Perth, and also not telling everybody the route, even though the police commissioner knew that information was not being divulged to the public for a very specific reason. Hey, that's how you keep people safe. Are we allowed to use the word retard on this show? Whoops, just did. I mean, honestly, these people must have got their policing license from a Wheaties box.
Say this, we understand there's heightened emotions at times with these sort of public assemblies, and we have a certain level of tolerance for that. What we don't have tolerance for is violence or antisocial behaviour that puts the public at risk. So we've got a significant policing response planned. We hope everyone comes along with the right intentions. If people do the right thing, then they'll have their time in the sun. If they come along and do the wrong thing and they're acting violently or doing anything that puts the public at risk, well, we'll have police trucks there ready to fill them up.
This is Peter McKenna, the Acting Deputy Commissioner of New South Wales Police. He's dealing with demonstrations on Sunday from the Refugee Action Coalition, from the Palestine Action Group and the Australia First rallies as well. How many extra officers are you deploying this weekend to deal with what's happening on Sunday?
So we'll have hundreds of officers in the field, but we also have the ability to pivot, surge officers across where we need to. We've got officers from the marathon who we can bring across if we need, plus our normal policing response. So we've planned for, like I said, worst case scenarios. We'll have lots of police out there.
Have you sought assurances from the various organisers of the various demonstrations that they're going to behave themselves and direct their supporters in an appropriate way? Is that part of the conversation you have with the people who are organisers?
Absolutely. And we have had those assurances thus far, and we hope they keep to their word.
So all three have said, don't worry about it. We're not going to be causing any trouble.
All three have said they want their time in the sun. They want the notoriety of what they are protesting for, but none of them want any violence.
Okay. And the main message is, if you're instructed to do something by a New South Wales police officer, you do it.
Absolutely. Just follow our directions and we'll keep everyone nice and safe on Sunday.
What are those directions likely to be? Do you sometimes tell people to get off the road or move to a certain area? Whatever you're told to do, just obey whatever the command is from the police officer who's on the scene.
That's right. We've got public order experts in the field, Ben. They're crowd control experts. So we actually get in front and behind the marchers. We flank them either side. So pretty much just follow our directions and you won't go wrong.
What do you do if you have a troublemaker who kind of plants themselves in the middle of a certain group? Because we have seen that before, where the person turning up in a particular group is not necessarily aligned with that group. They're there to cause trouble. Do you then eject that person? How do you work out who's who?
Yeah, if we see that and we identify someone who is causing problems and we think they need to be removed, well, we have the ability to move in and remove them. No
okay, so for example, if someone from the Palestine Action Group protest decided to march over towards the Australia First, or one of the Australia First demonstrators headed towards the Palestine Action Group, and they might be saying, hey, I'm allowed to walk around. It's a free country. I'm not doing anything to hurt anyone. There's a chance that police will make an assessment that this is going to end badly, so they'll just be removed from the area.
That's exactly right. And that's just using breach of peace legislation.
Good
Yeah.
luck this weekend. We want to say a big thank you to all the New South Wales police officers who are out there working on Sunday. It's going to be a big weekend for you guys, and thanks so much for coming in.
No worries at all, Ben. Thanks very much.
Peter.
Righty, everybody. I mean, honestly. Hey? Honestly. What was that? You made a comment there, Three Steve's Films, about pivot surge. I wrote that down. So the acting police commissioner there was saying they've got their trucks there. They're ready to fill up the trucks if there's any troublemakers. And because they've got so many police there because of the different events that are going on, they can pivot surge if there's any trouble and they need extra officers. And Three Steve's Films has pointed out in the comments, police can pivot surge, so there's no reason to inform them of anything. So they've got enough cops on the beat and all these. I mean, honestly, it blows my mind that here, in the name of public safety and putting the Australian public's mind at ease about all of these rallies and protests and events that are happening nationwide on Sunday, they get the acting police commissioner on with Ben Fordenham. And what? Inform everybody about the streets of the march, final location and the time, to keep everybody safe and to ease the Australian public's mind. Astounding. Absolutely astounding. So we've seen today, everybody, with the news report from Channel 9 Perth about confusing the locations of the counter-protest and the actual March for Australia. We can see the ABC news article with the sensationalised headline and the images redacting the location of the marches around each capital city of Australia, controlling information. And then we can see in the third news piece from Ben Fortnum with Acting Police Commissioner of New South Wales that we reveal all of the information. Now, your average radio listener who's not attending the march is not paying attention to the information about the streets and the times of the march. They couldn't care less. They couldn't care less. So why would you do that? To inform people that are interested. And who's interested in knowing where the attendees for the March for Australia are marching? The counter-protesters. That's who's interested in that information. So it seems to me that these terrible, terrible people who I don't know what their job title is, but I know what their job description is, and that is to manipulate information, to manipulate the public by using our parliamentarians, bureaucrats, corporate media, and police, have used a three-prong attack campaign before Sunday, and that is to confuse people about locations, redact information about locations, and to reveal information about locations. And what does all of that do? It potentially puts people in situations which could escalate and endanger the safety of peaceful attendees. That's what they've done. So the title of the show today, Media and Police Sabotaging March for Australia, ? It is my conspiracy, allegedly, that they are. Confuse, redact, reveal. That's the game plan they came up with for news reports, news articles, radio shows that people are seeing, listening to, and watching yesterday and today. Confuse, redact, reveal. I'd like to know what the title of these people have on their CV, what they call themselves that come up with these campaigns to manipulate the public. Shame on all of you. Shame on all of you. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Maybe another time. I'm not here to talk about that. Disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful. So, as I said, I'll be there on the weekend to follow corporate media. And I'll be watching corporate media over the next few days as well. Their tactics, I think, are risking the safety of peaceful attendees. And I think it's absolutely abhorrent behaviour by parliamentarians, bureaucrats, police, and corporate media. Absolutely abhorrent. Confuse, redact, reveal. Three-pronged campaign to manipulate the public and risk our safety. So as we did here, there's lots of different events going on. If you are going, just, check out where's the best place to park, I would say. Make sure you stay safe. Don't engage with these morons because that's what they are. They're there to agitate. And now they've got information of where people are marching. Now they've got potential people who aren't aware of the actual location rocking up to the locations of the counter protests that are just walking into a hostile environment. So, walk away, don't engage. If you see people looking around on the way, sort of not sure where to go, just say, hey, do you know where you're going? Because we know in Perth, there's going to be people going to the wrong location, walking into a hostile environment. Help your fellow Australian out and go, hey, I see you got an Aussie flag there. Are you going to the March for Australia? Awesome. Are you going to Supreme Court Gardens in Perth? Because that's where it's at. That is actually where it's at. Help out your fellow Australian. Don't let them walk into a hostile environment. Help out your fellow attendee who potentially isn't a seasoned activist, a seasoned rally attendee, a seasoned protester. As I said, we all have experience in this. We know how to handle ourselves. We know how to de-escalate situations. If you see someone who you think is not a seasoned attendee, help them out. And that's part of what being a wonderful, kind, generous Australian human being is about. So make sure we help each other out. And a huge thank you to the wonderful person who sent me that 9 News report from yesterday. I hadn't seen it, so I do really appreciate the audience participation that I get from you guys. And I'm going to put up on the bottom of the screen my email address for everybody that's stuck around for this long. You can send me information like that, like I received about the 9 News report, and you can also send me your ideas for the sound buttons, because I cannot wait to put some more sound buttons like this one. And the boo. I can't wait. Fantastic. So you can email me there and, send me news reports, anything you think that I might have missed, over the coming days leading up to the rally or anything like that. And also send me your ideas for the sound buttons. I would really appreciate it. Alrighty, everybody. So make sure you stay safe and, like I said, help out your fellow Aussie. If you think they're not a seasoned protester on Sunday, make sure that we help each other out. Don't engage with the morons. They're just there to agitate, make us all look like idiots, and corporate media will be there to go, oh, let's point the camera at this because what? The agitators are agitating. All right, everyone. Have a fantastic day and stay relentless. See you later.
Strength of a woman.